Now, we're so accustomed to doing these things that it seems like it's normal to shut down and stop giving. We don't understand that the enemy has deceived us. You need to just stop being nice to people. You need to just stop forgiving people so much. Stop doing all these things. The way you get back at them is don't ever do anything else nice for them. That's what the enemy whispers into our ear. What he's really trying to accomplish is to take our sense of self-worth, to take our sense of feeling good because we're giving to people, to take our sense of feeling like the bigger person because we didn't get caught up into those things, but we rose above them and still showed a good attitude. He's trying to steal all that. You have to get to a point where we understand that life is bigger than our circumstances. So many people are small-minded because they're allowing their circumstances to be bigger than them. So many people have little to give because their circumstances are bigger than them. And when your circumstances, when bitterness is bigger than you, when your feelings being hurt is bigger than you, you're not going to have much to give. When you can't show somebody love because of something that they did to you a few years ago, you're not going to have much to give. That's you're allowing your circumstances to be bigger than you. Is a direct the direct result will be you not having much to give as a person. That's going to be a direct result because we're allowing the wrong things to be big. We're not uplifting forgiveness. We're not uplifting mercy. We're not uplifting unconditional love. We're not uplifting joy. So you're not going to get no giving heart. You're not going to have no giving heart. You're not going to have peace. Peace is bigger than your circumstances. Joy, keeping your joy is bigger than your circumstances. Being a forgiving and a giving person is bigger than your circumstances. But since you're not uplifting it, since your reaction is not mercy, you're not going to be a giving person. You're not going to have joy. You're not going to have peace. All of the good in life, you're not going to have it. Because you have declared this problem bigger than my joy. And then we'll come to the conclusion, we'll even come to the conclusion that I'm not going over there until he apologizes. I'm not stepping footed over there. Now, how much peace is that person going to have? How much joy is that person going to have? Until he apologized for what he did to me, that person is small, is thinking small. That person is operating small. What you'll find in a lot of entrepreneurs is they don't if you say they can't make it, they keep going. If you say their idea is not good, they keep going. Because they don't allow their circumstances to dictate their destiny. They don't allow their circumstances to dictate their present. So they have tough skin. Even though you say they're failures, they keep going. Even though you say no one will ever buy into that idea, they keep going. They don't get caught up in as many attitudes, in as many arguments. And it allows them to have more success. But when you get caught up in all of the fussing and you get caught up in all of the attitudes, it stops your progress. There was another argument. Now, I'm not going to forgive that person. It stops your emotions from growing over here. It stops you over here. It stops you over here. But entrepreneurs, some of the best ones, they keep going. Bible says don't get caught up in civilian affairs. That's what it calls it. And a lot of us will be further along in our relationships if we stop getting caught up in some of these minor things. Not only do they stunt our growth, our emotional growth and our mental growth, but they also stunt the growth of our families, stunt the growth of our organizations, our communities. Amen. But what about me? What about my feelings? What about my emotions? Your emotions should be in the hands of God. Your well-being should be in the hands of God. If you're brokenhearted, you give that to God. That shouldn't stop you from being nice and kind and merciful to others, because you being nice, kind, and merciful to others is a sign of your faith that God is going to work everything out. But walking in bitterness and unforgiveness is a sign that you believe your life is doomed. You believe my situation is just messed up. My situation is just can't get fixed. And so the way I'm going to deal with it is I'm going to have this attitude. But we call ourselves believers. So again, because this will be the greatest attack to your kindness to people who mistreat you, is what about me? God can mend your broken heart. God can mend your emotions. And if that person comes along and says, you know what, I'm sorry for what I did to you, and that's what you've been hoping for, that's what you've been building up to, you've been desiring it so strong, and then what if they turn around and do it again? You're going to be right back down where you're going to be worse off. Because you were putting everything into that, instead of trusting God to take care of you by being a forgiving person, by being a merciful person. Amen. Verse 5 says, your attitude should be the same as that of Christ. A lot of us lose because of our attitude. Okay? A lot of us lose the game of life because we have the wrong attitude. You got to change your attitude. If you know you're getting ready to come home, or you're getting ready to come into the presence of somebody who you're upset with, you got to change your attitude. You got to give yourself a pep talk. You got to go in that house and smile. Hey, how are you doing? How was your day? But if the closer you get to the house, the worse your attitude becomes, because you're reminded where you're going, you're going to lose the battle. It says be like-minded as Christ. You got to pick yourself up. You got to declare that I'm strong in the Lord. You got to declare that I'm equipped in Jesus. And the closer you get to that house, you got to get a bigger smile on your face. You don't have to feel like smiling. It's not about how you feel. Do you feel like working out sometimes? Do you feel like eating healthy sometimes? Do you feel like cutting back sometimes? No, you don't. But you know that it's the right thing to do. It's the only way you're going to benefit. And the same thing is true with your relationships with people, brothers, sisters, friends, spouses, mothers, fathers. You got to change your attitude. They're getting away with, but they're going to get away with doing this towards me. How is a person that's hurting people getting away with anything? How is a person that's lost getting away with anything? The proper mentality we should have towards a person like that is they need help. They're lost. So you tell me how they're getting away with anything. They're not getting away with hurting you because God is taking care of you, right? As a believer, our proclamation is that God is taking care of us. So they're not getting away with hurting you because God is taking care of everything you need. God has your back. He's going to make sure you're totally mended. He's going to make sure you're stronger the next go around. So what are they getting away with?